looking for an informative speech on the ABCDs and how they affect your life. And here from Albert Ellis's therapeutic, cognitive therapy is for behavior or PTSD, depression. But pretty much it's to get rid of stinking thinking. So you've heard of those old sayings, or life gives you lemons, make lemonade. When the times get tough, the tough get going. So just kind of gives you that thing that life throws you curveballs. It is really based on an activating event, which is the A out of it, and that's where someone would they could have like a normal reaction. A good one would be like someone who doesn't know a wood stove's hot. They get close to it, they touch it, they learn that that thing is hot. So now in their little cognitive computer of their brain, they know every time they see a wood stove, it's hot. A bad example would be if someone would take and make something, their belief would become negative. So you might get an example of a car accident. The car, you have a car crash, your first belief you get out of it is, oh, I'm not a good driver. So then you wanna see where your belief takes you, and then so every time you get into an accident, it tells you you're not a good driver. The same way with like someone who had depression, if they turned in a paper, they might take it more so than someone who didn't if the teacher came back with a criticism on their paper. So this allows you to, again, take this stinking thinking and change it, and gives you a more positive approach, especially when, if you put it in a PTSD reference, when people go to war, they see things on the battlefield that don't really relate to everyday life, and that would be the activating event. So they might, next time they're in a restaurant when they're back in peacetime, it's a big loud noise or a backfiring car might remind them of the actual action of the war. So they turn something that has nothing to do really with the war into, this is the reaction I had because their belief is so, fight or flight is so strong that they've taken that simple thing and turned it into something massive. And the reason you have that problem is because sometimes it turns over to children, where the child will see the loud noise becomes the activating event. They associate instead of actually being combat, like their father who was in a PTSD would be. So here I have a slide that shows you I've had the car accident. So this is my activating event. My belief gained from the event, I'm a bad driver. Same way with the paperwork, like someone who's passing the paper, if they have a big diagnosed depression, they would take it as a teacher, I'm not a good student because I have criticism from the teacher instead of taking it constructively, like, yes, I need to fix my grammar, or I need to make my paragraphs longer. And then you have the consequence is gain from that, like again, I gave you that negative one with the PTSD, where the soldier has an event that happens, then they come back in peacetime, and they relate something else that has nothing to do with the original event as the thing that, the belief that keeps them driving. Or with the example for driving, it would be I would stop driving would be my consequence gain from the belief. And then when you put it into perspective, you want to dispute that thinking. So I have to say, well, I've driven 40,000 miles over this 10-year period. I've only had 2 accidents. That's a good way to dispute the thinking. So it's like, I'm not going to say I'm a bad driver. I'm actually a pretty good driver if I've traveled that far with just 2 accidents in this time. So it gives you an idea of how you can change and dispute the activating event and dispute the belief you gain after that activating event. It helps you to get more positive approach to life and to change. I've always been interested in it because of my own self, to have better interaction with people and more positive role to play with each other as far as communicating and keeping ourselves in line with the society. So all my references by the council, I have the Council Tutors website and Albert Ellis Institute, and I appreciate you guys coming. Thank you very much.